Good morning and welcome back. We had to move our introduction inside the tractor cab this morning. We have about a 40-mile-an-hour southerly wind coming. That's a pretty gusty wind, but combine that with the 75-degree highs today, you couldn't ask for better weather to dry the ground and plant the rest of your crops. To answer your question, no. I did not sleep in the tractor last night. I did go home after we concluded the episode. I just skipped all the boring part about traveling back. So we're gonna get started, finish this field, and finish planting season. Shutting down early last night was definitely the right call. Just this morning, since the sun's been out and the wind's been blowing, the moisture is out of the topsoil. I'm not leaving a wet seed trench out there. Pretty much a perfect seed bed. All right, time to get limbered up, mentally sharpened, and take into consideration what our insurance deductible is, because I'm going to be planting around all of these power lines. If my math is correct, there are 14 lines out here, 4 of these double pole high voltage transmission lines, and then 10 of these single poles, coincidentally all in a straight row. At least I get to enjoy a majority of the suck all at once, as opposed to having to do it every single round. I'd like to have a word with the engineer who greenlit the placing of these power lines so close together. Must have not considered the farmer. Hopefully I can thread the gap. We got an urban tumbleweed. Oh, right into the planter. We caught it. Don't say I don't do anything for the environment. Clean up plastic. Woo! It's windy. That was close. A lot of junk out here. Back to timeout. Oh, man. I'm almost done. I never realized pole dancing was so stressful. Should hold up for the last 30 acres. Unusual problem. Things break though. Dad gets in to ride around and then all of a sudden we start breaking things. Coincidence? I don't know. The weirdest coincidence about that though is I was wondering yesterday, just looking back at the planter, if those fan delivery tubes ever break. Well, that answers my question. They do in fact break on occasion. Row 7 is not planting. What do you think's wrong with it? Shook the line a few times, we'll put it in the ground, see if it plants. As simple as that, it's planting. Strange. I can tell my dad's bored since he's done planting corn, just hanging out here, walking through the field, picking up junk. There's the pass we've been waiting for. Nothing's gonna stand in our way from finishing planting season 2021. Except for this power pole. How fitting of a way to end it. If we drive straight through it, we may get a new tractor and planter next year. I also may not be alive. Probably shouldn't do that. Let's run them empty. 300,000. Someone popped the champagne, crossing the finish line. There's what we're looking for. Mission accomplished. Quick side note, I can think of maybe 6 or 7 different spots that are not going to successfully grow. So if you want to say we're not done, that's true. I count planting your farm the first time as finishing planting. We definitely have some replant to do, and I'm sure in the next few weeks, if we get some rain, we'll have even more on that list. For now, though, we can celebrate. Dad and I just cleaned out the planter. Only spilled a little bit. Time to take this baby home. Don't worry, I checked the tire pressure too. Usually an hour and a half is about as long as I can go without getting out of the tractor and doing that. We've got an hour and 15 minutes in the tractor ahead of us to get back to the home farm. Buckle in, it's going to be a fun, long, and windy ride. my feet back on the ground. Took about the same amount of time, but there was a lot more traffic. We burned 120 gallons of diesel on that trip. The boss is headed to do some replanting. I think he's bored. He kicked me out and said I'm going to do something. Whatever. I'm gonna go get some lunch. It is unbelievably windy out here today. I'm sure you can tell. On the right side though, look at this corn. Perfectly spaced. In 2 days, I bet every single acre of planting will be out of the ground. You can already grow this farm. Dad did all the planting and then left me to drive the planter home in this wind. Thanks. He only ended up spotting in one area. We have a few different locations where it was too wet when we went out originally, but they're still too wet. I don't know if we have tile issues or if it's just still damp. I find that hard to believe. Nothing we can do now though but take the planter home and put it in the barn. Inside we go. They're calling for some rain, so she may be in here for a while. A bulk of the work's done though. The one downside to a windy day like this is that you can easily tell what's loose on all of your equipment and facilities. It's like one of those vents on the bin is wiggling pretty good, and something in the barn here is howling. Well, with this vicious wind and to celebrate finishing up the majority of our planting, we're gonna end the video here. My family and I are about to do an interview with WCIA, one of our local news stations, for one of their series called Harvest Heritage. Basically, it just talks about family farms around Central Illinois. So if you're interested in watching that, I'll put the link down below. I'm super ecstatic to have all of our seeds in the ground. They're calling for a couple inches of rain over the next few days. As long as it doesn't come down as one fast downpour, we should be all right. Rain has this magical property of fixing and hiding all of the mistakes you made while planting. All of those soybeans that probably have an open seed trench, a nice rain on them, 80-degree weather, they'll be out of the ground in no time. Speaking of warm weather, I think all of our corn and soybeans will be emerged by next week. Hopefully it's the beginning of a very productive and healthy growing season. I'm gonna take off for the day. Thank you for tuning in. Like the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you wanna see more, and comment down below if you have any questions. You know I love to talk about farming. Have a great day, everyone. Peace.